The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning. NIB increasing pensions and grants by 1.5% beginning July 1st. The USTR proposal could impose a 12.5% export tariff on the Bahamas. And the F&M accusing the government of trying to sneak in changes to permanent residency. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know?
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Thursday, June 4th, 2026. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Laverne Gardner will be joining us. Also this morning, we've got a preview of this weekend's Caribbean and Latin American 14-under baseball championships, the Pony Bahamas tournament. Getting underway today, actually. Get you all the details about what you need to know. And then we wrap up Labor Week, our Labor Week series all week long. Today we are talking with the president of the BNATUC, Belinda Wilson, on this Labor Day Eve. That's all straight ahead. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, the National Insurance Board will be increasing pensions and grants by 1.5% beginning July 1st. Director of NIB, Dr. Tammy Francis, saying during a press conference yesterday that the increase reflects the changes in the retail price index over the review period. Along with a 1.5% increase in pensions and grants, there will be an increase of $20 in the insurable wage ceiling. She said the retail price index measures those changes across the basket of goods and services that people purchase every day. And she says the law requires NIB to review those changes every 2 years and to determine the rate at which pensions and grants should be adjusted. Francis also saying that NIB's performance is much better than predicted due to a change in its operations model and further cost-cutting measures. During that press conference yesterday, Francis said that the perilous state NIB found itself under threat of becoming insolvent and collapsing, while not fully behind it, is being staved off. The Bahamas could face a new 12.5% tariff on exports to the United States under a proposal by the Office of the United States Trade Representative, that's the USTR. That body has determined that this country has failed to impose and effectively enforce a prohibition on goods produced with forced labor. The USTR revealing in a notice of determinations and request for comments it published recently that this change in duty forms part of the sweeping Section 301 trade action targeting 60 economies, including the Bahamas, that USTR says maintain policies that distort global trade and place U.S. producers at a competitive disadvantage. USTR said the Bahamas was among 46 jurisdictions that participated in consultations with the USTR following the launch of the investigation in March. Following those consultations and a review of public comments, testimony, and government submissions, USTR concluded that the Bahamas and dozens of other countries have, quote, failed to impose and effectively enforce a prohibition on the importation of goods produced with forced labor. The agency determined that the acts policies and practices of the countries under investigation are, quote, unreasonable and burden or restrict U.S. commerce and thus are actionable under sections of the Trade Act. With the official start of summer approaching and uncertainty surrounding the ongoing conflict in the Middle East, motorists have been warned that already high gas prices here in the Bahamas could rise even further. Vice President of the Bahamas Petroleum Retailers Association, Vasco Bastian, saying that there is a 50-50 chance prices at the pump will go up. However, he did not want to speculate on when or if this will occur. This comes as one gas station here in New Providence, Rubis and Sandyport, listed its gasoline at $7.34 a gallon on its pumps yesterday. A representative from the service station told the Nassau Guardian that the increase went into effect last Thursday. When contacted yesterday, Bastian said he was not aware the gasoline was being sold for that price at Rubis, stressing that the Sandyport location is an independent station, though. Long Island MP Dr. Andrew Rollins accusing the Davis administration of attempting to sneak in changes to the Bahamas Nationality Act without seeking to have a transparent debate on the issue. The amendment to the Bahamas Nationality Act would allow the Minister of Immigration to, for a $500 fee, grant permission, or permanent residency rather, to people whose citizenship applications have been denied. Rollins, in a statement, noted that the FNM and that its leader, Michael Pintard, urged the government to establish a select committee on immigration to transparently address numerous concerns pertaining to the worsening immigration crisis. He said, quote, despite this recommendation, the government is attempting to use the upcoming budget debate exercise as an opportunity to introduce a stealth a significant amendment to our nation's immigration laws, which potentially will create a dangerous loophole for future exploitation. Rollins says they're strongly advising the government against seeking to bury something as significant as the conferral of permanent residency at a cost even cheaper than that of an annual work and its attendant consequences within a budget debate. The Supreme Court judge ordering a paralyzed inmate released from custody to seek proper medical treatment after granting the hearing of a constitutional motion. Justice Lauren Klein Wednesday heard the matter of Carlos Butler, whom prosecutors allege was shot during the April 24th armed robbery of an off-duty policeman who was collecting a deposit for a supermarket in New Providence. Butler, who was confined to a wheelchair, was not present at the hearing as he could not access Klein's upstairs courtroom because the Supreme Court does not have an elevator. Butler was remanded to the Department of Corrections on May 11th. His lawyer, Bjorn Ferguson, sought an urgent application for interim relief after arguing that Butler's continued detention could result in a deterioration of his health or death. Ferguson says that Butler is medically vulnerable and that the prison is unable to adequately provide his present medical needs. Despite his condition, Butler is sleeping on a concrete floor, putting him at risk for pressure sores. Ferguson says that Butler cannot control his bowel functions and has to wear adult diapers. He's assisted by other inmates who lack medical training. According to Ferguson, Butler might have the chance of regaining mobility if he can get physiotherapy, which is unavailable at the prison. That application, though, was opposed by the lawyer from the Office of the Attorney General, Denard Brown. In his interim order, Klein ordered Butler released so that he could receive proper treatment after finding that his continued detention at the prison would be degrading and inhumane. Investigations continue into a traffic fatality. This happened yesterday. A man in his 30s dead following a traffic fatality on Fire Trail Road. Sometime after 12 p.m., police received reports that a driver heading east on Fire Trail Road lost control of his vehicle after overtaking another one. He collided with the wall of a business on the northern side of the street. His vehicle sustained extensive damage. Overseas, a fire at a nursing home in western Sri Lanka, killing 12 residents and injuring 8 others. Police say the fire started late Wednesday at a home in an area with 51 residents, were rescued. He said the police say people with mental illnesses were also housed there. The director of the home was arrested on suspicion of causing death through negligence. The Associated Press obtaining footage showing the building gutted with its charred furniture and equipment and bodies laying nearby. U.S. President Donald Trump acknowledging criticizing Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and calling him crazy in a phone call that involved expletives, saying he was, quote, a little bit perturbed that Israel's fighting with Hezbollah militants in Lebanon was holding back peace talks with Iran. But even as the U.S. president conceded the tensions in an interview released Wednesday, he insisted that his relationship with Netanyahu was solid and that they connected in part because they're both, quote, wartime leaders. In an interview with the American business news channel CNBC, Netanyahu responded that he and Trump sometimes have tactical disagreements, but have common goals and, quote, agree on the main things. And garbage continues to pile up in Havana as fuel shortages stall trash pickup. For months, residents of Havana, home to 2 million of Cuba's almost 10 million residents, have lived with piles of garbage accumulating on almost every street corner. The situation deteriorated after the U.S. energy blockade triggered power outages, water shortages, and a fuel crisis that brought state-run garbage trucks to a standstill. Without garbage collection, residents have begun burning waste in the streets, raising alarm among health officials over potentially toxic smoke. Residents fear the coming months will bring worse conditions as summer heat intensifies and the hurricane season begins. A citywide tour by the Associated Press revealing identical scenes across Havana neighborhoods where locals said garbage trucks pass only irregularly. In the city center and on the outskirts, cars, bicycles, and trains weave around the trash piles. Others pick through it, hoping to salvage something useful. Melinda French Gates will expand her giving to improve women's health globally, pledging another $215 million to support contraceptive access and maternal care, as well as initiatives aimed at middle-aged women, including further study of menopause. The new funding announced today, pushing French Gates' donations for women's health over $600 million in the past 2 years. She told the Associated Press in an interview that women's health is the cornerstone of the work she does through Pivotal, the group of organizations she founded to handle her philanthropy and investments. Since 2024, when she stepped away from the Gates Foundation, which she founded with her now ex-husband Bill Gates, and built into the world's largest private funders of health, one of the world's largest, French Gates has honed her approach to supporting women.
This is Sports Update.
In sports, one of the top young athletes in the country and fastest rising stars has made a decision on the next step of his athletic career. Carlin Archer is headed to Auburn University in the fall of 2026, deciding to compete for the Auburn Tigers in his collegiate career. Auburn is one of the top sprints and jumps programs in the NCAA Division I track and field, and as a promising young sprinter and jumper, Archer is expected to add significant value. The 17-year-old 12th grader at SAC says he's looking forward to the journey. Read more on that in today's Guardian Sports section. And the Bahamas senior men's national basketball team will need the help of the home crowd to advance to the second round of the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup America's qualifiers. The national team will play its next two Group B games against Jamaica and Puerto Rico on Friday, July 3rd and Monday, July 6th, both at the Kendall Isaacs Gym here in Nassau. The team will need all the support it can get, as it currently sports a 1-3 win-loss record in Group B and will need to finish strong to get into the top 3 in the group to qualify for round 2 of play. More on that in today's Guardian Sports section. Speaking of basketball from the NBA, Game 1 of the NBA Finals, the New York Knicks winning streak lives on, and they struck first in San Antonio. Jalen Brunson scored 30 points. Karl Anthony Towns finished with 18 points and 12 rebounds, and the Knicks erased a 14-point second-half deficit to beat the Spurs 105-95 Wednesday night. OG Anunoby had 17 points for New York, which has won 12 consecutive playoffs games, the 7th team to have such a streak in the NBA history, and the 3rd to do it in a single season. Brunson scored 13 points in the 4th, only 6 fewer than San Antonio managed as a team in that quarter, and it sealed it with a spinning jumper while falling to the court with 38 seconds left. Game 2, Friday in San Antonio. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your first look at weather brought to you by Star General. So we've got a severe weather watch that remains in effect for most of the country, for the northwest and central Bahamas, and that will continue through tonight. Residents in this area will try to keep. It's coming from the Department of Meteorology. We also have a Saharan dust advisory in effect for the central and southeast Bahamas. Air quality will be compromised, and for folks with respiratory issues and other conditions, you're going to, people with respiratory issues, again, the elderly, children, need to limit outdoor exposure and wear masks if possible. So we also have a cold front moving across the central Bahamas, low-level troughing and tropical moisture streaming from the Gulf of Mexico. That's going to continue to support showers and thunderstorms across the northern, northwest, and central Bahamas, while the southeast Bahamas, again, deals with that plume of Saharan dust, which will limit shower activity but create hazy conditions. Today, there is a high risk of dangerous, life-threatening rip currents across the northern Bahamas, especially north and east coast beaches. And there's a moderate risk of flooding in low-lying and flood-prone areas during heavy or prolonged rainfall events. A slight risk of rip currents exists elsewhere across the country, along all exposed beaches. Beachgoers, again, should exercise caution. So your forecast for today, the northern half of the country looking at partly cloudy to occasionally overcast conditions with a 20 to 40% chance of showers with thunderstorms. Winds northeast to east at 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts. The central and southeast Bahamas looking at variably to partly cloudy conditions. A 20 to 40% chance of showers with thunderstorms for the central islands. Winds northeast to east at 10 to 50 knots, shifting east to southeast at 10 knots or less. And a 20 to 30% chance of showers for the southeast Bahamas, winds southeast at 10 to 15 knots. Temperatures today, highs in the mid-80s. Again, we're looking at cloud cover and rain for the northern half of the country. That's about 30 Celsius. The southern half of the country, the central and southeast islands, looking at highs getting up to as high as 90 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to the upper 70s for most areas, around 26 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have a look at the tropics and your extended outlook for your holiday weekend coming up in just a bit. This weather check brought to you by Star General Insurance Made Simple.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
It is time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Struggling to find your financial rhythm? Make that move to Fidelity and let us help you orchestrate your financial goals into perfect harmony with free financial coaching sessions. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Hope still lives in community. Join the Jenny Dean Caring and Sharing Cancer Support Group for the Hope Walk 2026 on Saturday, June 13th at 6 a.m. at Goodman's Bay. Walk alongside survivors, patients, caregivers, and families as we come together in support. Enjoy fellowship, vendors, activities, and our inspiring Hope concert immediately following the walk. Register at gdcancersupportgroup.com.
Looking to elevate your gadget game, or are tech troubles simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows, or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Caves Village, or call 396-1100. If you're done with gas prices burning a hole through your wallet, stop paying the price and start driving the solution. A BYD EV from Easy Car Sales comes with an 80% drop. Wave goodbye to gas lines and charge while you sleep. For 8 years, drives like you have been breaking up with the pump and waking up to freedom. It's more than a car. It's a new way to be. It's a BYD from the one and only authorized dealer in the Bahamas. Visit easy242.com to learn more.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
The unsung heroes give us pride in the present, hope for the future, and most importantly, become living examples of the best that we can be.
CIBC Caribbean wants to reward the unsung heroes in our communities. Do you know someone who's been doing outstanding work in their community or performed an extraordinary act of heroism, bravery, or kindness in the last 12 months? Nominate a hero today. Go to CIBCCaribbean.com to learn more.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice. It's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the Know-How team at 396-1101.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, It's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas, Channel 969, and BTC Float, Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Laverne Gardner. Laverne, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you? And good morning to our listeners.
Good morning. Doing well. Hope the same for you. And glad to have you with us as always. A lot to talk about this morning. We're going to get into it. We are coming up. We're going to be talking about this event, which kicks off today right here in Nassau, the Andre Rogers Stadium, the Pony Bahamas Tournament, the Caribbean and Latin American 14-under baseball championships. All the details coming up. And then we wrap up our Labor Week series. Today we are talking with Belinda Wilson. She's the president of the BNATUC. As tomorrow marks a major milestone for Labor Day in the Bahamas, Randall Fox Labor Day. We're going to get into that and a whole lot more this morning. That's all ahead, but let's begin with what else is in the news. And in the news, I know a lot of people were asking about this yesterday. The Minister of Labor mentioned it when she was on the show that NIB would be having a press conference, and NIB announced that it's increasing pensions and grants by $1 in just a few weeks, beginning with the new fiscal year, July 1st. We're going to get into that story this morning, and some encouraging words from the director of NIB that the board is not exactly, the fund is not exactly in crisis anymore due to this need. Over the last couple of years. So we'll get to that in just a bit. Also, we'll see if we can get into this. We told you about this yesterday. We didn't know at the time that the Bahamas was on the list, but it seemed like it was going to be pretty wide-reaching, the number of countries affected by this. The USTR proposing to impose a 12.5% export tariff on countries, including the Bahamas. The Bahamas, everybody's favorite President Trump and his crew, trying to address issues across the world. We'll get into that, Laverne, in just a bit. There is a story, though, and Laverne, I know this. You were listening to this. And we talked about this a few weeks ago when this first came to light. But, Court orders interim release of paralyzed inmate to seek treatment. Our Artesia Davis writing about this. So a Supreme Court judge Wednesday ordered a paralyzed inmate released from custody to seek proper medical treatment after granting interim relief pending the hearing of a constitutional motion. Justice Lauren Klein heard the matter of Carlos Butler, whom prosecutors allege was shot during the April 24th armed robbery of an off-duty policeman who was collecting a deposit for a supermarket here in New Providence. Butler, who was confined to a wheelchair, was not present at the hearing as he could not access Klein's upstairs courtroom because the Supreme Court does not have an elevator. Each sentence is going to be shocking and head-scratching from there on. Yeah? That was pretty bad. Butler was remanded to the Department of Correctional Services on May 11th. His lawyer, Bjorn Ferguson, sought an urgent application for interim relief after arguing that Butler's continued detention could result in a deterioration of his health or even death. Ferguson says that Butler is medically vulnerable and that the prison is unable to adequately provide his present medical needs. Despite his condition, he's being made to sleep on a concrete floor, put putting him at risk for pressure sores. Ferguson says that Butler cannot control his bowel functions and has to wear adult diapers. He's assisted by other inmates who lack medical training. Remember this? We talked about this a few weeks ago. According to Ferguson, Butler might have the chance of regaining mobility if he can get physiotherapy, which is unavailable at the prison. The application was opposed by the lawyer from the Office of the Attorney General, Donald Brown, opposed. Now, Justice Klein said, quote, "I would have thought that the state would have been eager to release and seek medical attention for someone in that state because the potential for liability grows minute by minute." You heard that?
I did. I'm listening. I have my thoughts and I'm listening.
The application was opposed by the Attorney General's office. In his interim order, Klein ordered Butler released so that he can receive, quote, proper treatment after finding that his continued detention at the prison would be degrading and inhumane. His bail was set at $5,000 for reporting conditions. The matter has been adjourned to June 30th for a status hearing. All right. Wow. So again, this guy allegedly is shot, tried to rob somebody, an off-duty police officer. And that's when he was shot and paralyzed. But concrete floor, adult diapers, and another inmate changing his diapers.
He's helping you. Yeah.
This is insanity.
Oh, yeah. That is inhumane. I'm along. I'm in agreement with the judge. I was shocked too. I was shocked that prosecution would object.
Yeah. Okay. Well, when we talked about this a few weeks ago, people were like, "Oh, it's not a hotel; it's prison."
Okay.
But again, what did the other inmate do to have to also be subjected to changing another man's diapers? What could he possibly have done that would?
So my question is that
this would be a
inmate who's
punishment.
assisting him, the inmate who's assisting or who has been assisting him, is he getting time off of his sentence?
And mental health treatment.
Right. It is inhumane. And, I know people will call, as people have called and said, well, this isn't a hotel but we cannot deprive people of needed medical care.
Well, cannot? Okay. We've been doing it.
Cannot. We should not.
We should not.
Yeah. We should not. He's not been, has it not to trial yet? Has he been convicted?
No.
Okay. He has not.
Well, I mean, I'm still saying alleged. Let's hear from you on this. 323-62 concrete floor in a diaper.
Why?
323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. What's going on here, folks? Good morning, caller. You're live on the air.
Dwight, good morning. How you doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
And to your guests in the studio. This story, I remember when you carried it. I didn't have an opportunity to weigh in, but it still rings out strong. And I think the contrast for me today is the two different perspectives that was presented in the courts. One is by the people that are the custodians of justice, particularly the administrators of justice, the Justice Department, their perspective versus the judiciary that provides interpretation. And it's frightening that something in my view, that is so clear, that is brings such a clear contrast as to what should and shouldn't be, that our Justice Department sought to argue that Her Majesty's prison had the capacity and the means to bring a standard that is necessary for this person to remain in prison. And notwithstanding the fact that, as Justice Klein pointed out, not just the condition as it impacts.
Okay, so before you go on, John, so listen, I'm just looking at this. Okay, things are worse than we think. So this is not apparently. I'm looking back at the story you read a few weeks ago. This is a different inmate. This is somebody else. Can you believe it? There's more than one. So the person we talked about, that person was a murderer. He's a convict. This person is accused of something else. This is a different person. What is going on at this place?
So you have multiple attorneys appealing to our Justice Department and pointing out the obvious. This is not hidden information. This is the obvious, that Her Majesty's prison lacked the capacity to keep these people incarcerated under best practice conditions. But what is also important, as Justice Klein pointed out, Dwight, is the liability to us, the taxpayers, which the Justice Department has. They have agency to protect us from such liability. And it frightens me that they would sit and say, forget about the exposure that it brings to the taxpayers, an already burdened taxpaying Bahamian public. Let's do to keep the liability in place. That's how I translate it.
Well, they don't care.
That is, to me, it's unacceptable that these are the people that we hire to administer our affairs. And I give Justice Klein, I worked with him in the defense force, and kudos that the case went before him, and that he ruled the way he ruled, and pointed out that you're not only exposing the prisoner, but the Bahamian people, the government of the Bahamas, you're bringing exposure to liability to us.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
This is something.
They don't care.
Anyway, you
obviously.
have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Sean. They don't care. Okay, so again, I had to look this up because the language here is different from the story we talked about a few weeks ago. That person is definitely an inmate. This person is, this just happened with the robbery. This happened in April. So this story was much older. I'm looking back at the story from May. And that was shocking. It's a totally different person. A paraplegic awaiting sentencing for murder and attempted murder is receiving stellar medical care behind bars, according to the prison doctor. Dr. Hastings Johnson testified that at the sentencing hearing for a 24-year-old Jawan Armbrister, totally different person, before Justice Wilhelmina Archer-Mins. He was convicted last June of the September 18th, 2020 murder of Devontae Brown and the attempted murder of Valverde Butler that stemmed from a shooting on Carmichael Road. Although Johnson admitted that Armbrister had yet to receive the recommended physiotherapy while in prison, he insisted that he was receiving a high level of care while in custody. He said that Armbrister is in a dorm with other inmates who are expected to assist him. Another inmate, whom the doctor refused to name, is tasked with pushing Armbrister's wheelchair, cleaning his pressure sores. So that means he's also sleeping on concrete, since he's got the pressure sores. Oh, man. And changing his soiled diapers. In addition to the inmate, Armbrister reportedly is cared for by a team of nurses. Armbrister's lawyer, Miranda Adderley, this is a different lawyer, took issue that the inmate assigned to him was not medically trained. However, Johnson said the inmate was trained by staff at the prison. Armbrister was on bail for the offenses when he was shot in 2022, leading to his paralysis. Wow. So again, this is a totally different person, Carlos Butler, who was shot in April when he tried to rob an off-duty police officer, and dealing with the same stuff. Good
This is
Lord.
wild, and it seems like it's okay because
It's the standard operating procedures.
That's what I
Wow,
mean.
wow,
It's
wow,
like
wow.
this is the norm. This is what we do here.
Now, with that other case, people were saying, yeah, he deserves it because he's convicted. He's a convicted murderer. And so whatever, nobody has sympathy for him. That's what people were saying when we talked about this in May. But my goodness. So we've got a lot of interesting text messages here. Laverne, this person says here, is it again the law or constitution to buy them army cots to sleep on? I don't know what you're asking. What? But anyway, okay. Concrete, that doesn't sound right. Does it sound right to you? And
you know what, Dwight? I'm going to say this because it sounds right when it doesn't impact you personally.
I see.
Like it's not you, it's not your loved one. So we say, okay, we say they're in prison. It's not a hotel. What are they looking for? Because it's probably not impacting you personally in any way. But if you have a loved one that's not been convicted, but is incarcerated, awaiting trial, and has a medical issue, a serious medical condition that can prove should they get the right treatment, but is sleeping on the concrete floor wearing adult diapers, then you would be in the media's face every day.
Yeah. This texter is asking, doesn't the prison have an infirmary? Okay, yes, and what about it? Yeah, okay. This person says that this story is insanity on steroids, and by the way, the courts are in violation of the Disability Act. Will they be fined? Yeah, not having an elevator. That's very disturbing.
Right. What's that?
Although the building we're in,
what's that about?
We can't point fingers too hard at where we are. But anyway, love your show as always. But what really is inhumane is when these criminals are robbing, raping, and slaughtering other human beings. Okay, we totally agree with you. Absolutely agree.
100%. 100% agree.
They say the innocent in prison I feel sorry for, but those criminals who continuously commit crimes, I have no type of feelings for them whatsoever. They deserve it because when they were doing what they were doing to their victims, they didn't care. If they didn't want to be subjected to inhumane treatment, they should have managed their freedom better. Okay, I hear you, and I understand where you're coming from. But again, a lot of these people are released, and they're going to come out even worse animals than ever before, and inflict more of all they have ever known on innocent people. We cannot stoop as low as they do. You have to rise up and be better than them. Show them love and compassion so that if they are going to be released, they can understand how to really interact and treat people. If you continue to treat them like this, they will unleash all of this on all of us. Sue the government.
You got through?
You
think you got through?
No, of course not. This guy, shut up. He's just so liberal. Oh, my gosh. Sue the government, that's the person who says. The state is responsible for him and should supply the medical care. He shall serve his time, but not on a concrete floor. And he's not even been convicted yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. In my opinion,
the other story, he was already convicted.
Right. And even then, that seems
even
unfair.
Then, you're training an inmate. What? You've tasked an inmate with the responsibility to take care of this other inmate. Is that a thing?
Crazy stuff.
What is this?
This texture says here, in my opinion, let him go. From he tried to rob and got shot, that was his judgment. Justice was served. He was sentenced to a lifetime of being in a wheelchair. Oh, boy. Okay. Sleeping on the floor on cardboard boxes, 4 people in a 6x10 cell using buckets.
Yeah.
Can the government not buy cots for them? They are on Amazon for
Like, for real, though. I mean, it sounds funny, but I get it. Right? Like, how much a cart costs? Can that be put in the budget?
With the surplus.
Or is the condition?
With the surplus they have, they could possibly.
We can't even say that the conditions, they use the conditions as a deterrent, because that's not effective. Prison full.
Lots of repeat offenders.
Right.
Let's go back to the phone lines. Good morning, caller. You're live on the air.
Yes, good morning.
Hi.
I'm not shocked at the report. I'm not shocked about the opinion of my fellow Bahamians concerning persons who are incarcerated, whether convicted or on remand, because we have a 50-year history of Fox-held prison. I don't care how much they changed the name. Of Fox-held prison.
50? It's much longer than that.
Yeah, well, I only 54, so I can only go with 50. Okay?
Yeah.
But we have a history. I mean, I think is it one of these international organizations who came down and assessed us that this is probably one of the worst prisons in the Western Hemisphere.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care how much we change the name. The mindset hasn't changed that when people enter those gates, they become animals. They deserve every poor treatment that they could possibly be meted out to, and we don't care. But we forget that these people have limited time that they're going to be incarcerated, and they're going to be unleashed on the streets again. You treated me like an animal, I'm going to come out and be an animal.
Yeah.
There's no rehabilitation. There's no way of looking at people in a humane way. Prison officers, I don't know if it's something in the special treating they go through, but the minute they put on that uniform and they themselves walk through that gate, is it Squid World War, whatever that is?
Games. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's terrible. And I know that there's an expression that how we treat our animals is indicative of who the society is, but I also say how we treat our prisoners is indicative of who we are as a people.
Yeah. Prisoners and the elderly.
Yeah.
And we're doing very badly on all three.
Yeah.
All
on
three.
All three.
Yeah. And children. Put children in there too.
Yes.
You are so right, caller. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Now, they do have rehabilitation programs. They do. But how widespread is it? Does everybody do it? Is it mandatory? What is it exactly? I don't know. And the Department of Corrections needs to do a better job of explaining to us what they do.
I think, thinking about the first story and, having prison officials explain, hey, this person is in here, but they are getting here, and you being okay with saying, we have a prisoner who takes care of, and you're okay saying that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
I think
that's fine. They don't see any issue. I guess they don't see them as humans.
Right.
They don't see them as humans. Can you imagine if you're at school, a boarding school or summer camp or college, and you're told, oh, yeah, well, he broke his leg, but we got the other inmate in there changing him and washing him. The other student, inmate. That's what the person would be, an inmate. This is insane, and we should be ashamed of ourselves. And it's not just one person. It's a totally different story from the one we told you about last month. Wow.
Let's be clear about that.
Let's listen to this text before we get to these calls. This person says here, cots are made up of wood, plastic, or metal parts that can be broken down or weaponized. Okay, so aren't the beds too, or are there no beds at all? We don't have any beds at all? But they are, no? Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Well.
I'm sure we can figure out something, right? So even if we say that cots aren't the
no bed in maximum? No way.
Right.
That's
I'm
impossible.
Thinking we could, when you're maximum, there's
My
no
producer's
bed,
saying
you're
there's no
just
bed.
on the floor.
That can't be right.
So
Is it a mattress?
Is the gentleman here who's on remand, is he in maximum? Because it doesn't sound like he has a bed either.
That's where all the diapered inmates are, apparently. No, I don't know. I have no idea. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning and a pleasant day to you.
Same to you.
When I have been calling this program about anything about the prison, I said that Fox Hill is the real shantytown. That the prison is the real shantytown. However, I'm still in the belief that it can be changed. You know, recently a special bus was given to the students, I think in Stapleton or something there, and I think the government have the resources, or at least the parliamentarians, some of the rich ones, can provide even mattresses, just mere sponges to be on the floor, so that the inmates don't need to sleep on concrete.
Mm. Hey,
but you know what? Do we want to? Is there?
I was going to say, I don't know if there is any desire for that. Other
Is
than
there a
us,
desire?
the few of us calling in and
people
talking this
there
morning.
saying, hey, can we do something about this? I don't know if there's a real desire.
There are people
for
all across the country hearing us and turning down or off the radio like these clowns. What's wrong with them? They had nothing else to talk about. Nothing else going on in this country. Yeah, people don't care. Clearly, as the previous caller said, 50 years, talk 100. This has been going on, and we've not done much to change this at all. Squeezy's calls in. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Mr. Sean Sparky here.
Hi.
You know, we don't know until something happens to us how mean some people could be. Myself, the lady said 50 years, I'm 75. When I grew up, I always heard but Fox Hill Prison. I heard them changing the name of the prison to make it sound good. I don't know why. To me, that's Fox Hill Prison. I was even scared to drive on that road. I used to collect insurance with Star Insurance one time ago as a youngster. I used to be scared to go on the compound because you got some senior prisoner's office live on that compound in special homes that with their families that grew up in the prison yard, East Street or South Beach. I was scared to go in there to collect the people's insurance. That's how afraid I was of going to Fox Hill. Scared to be arrested. But then there's some decent people out here that you don't know Dwight till something happened to you. Life is all right with me, and all of a sudden I had one big bad fall in my backyard, fell on my patio, messed up my legs. Now I got to walk around with a wheelie walker, so I'm like a handicapped person, but I can still walk. It's just that my legs from the knees down, I can walk around. And I got animals. I got 2 beautiful German shepherds, cost thousands of dollars. And I treat them like my children. They eat better than me. They go to the doctor more than I do. Water's always there. Food is always there. In fact, all 2 of them sitting laying out in my front room right now with the front door open. And that's how I treat. And how you treat people. How some of these architects think when they build. Dwight, you walking up and down, you could get upstairs, second floor in the Guardian now. Something happened to you now, you can't get your wheelchair upstairs. You don't have no elevator to get to the second floor. So if I come to see Dwight Strachan, I got to sit in the lobby, tell the lady I downstairs. If you invite me to come to a show, I can't get up on the second floor. It ain't till it happened to you that we learn how to treat people. Like the lady said, if you treat people like animals, when they come out, I can tell you, Dwight, this is the last thing I say. When I was helping Leslie Miller build the bowling alley, they had some ex-criminals down there that was there. And I got friendly with the guys, helping to build the lanes and everything. And just but every one of them had a little small knife in their pocket. And they ready to juke that in you as soon as you make one mistake. They'll juke you in your heart and then break off running. They don't care about being arrested. They've been to jail before. They know you ain't going to hang them. And they don't care about killing. That's what we're growing in this country. And I tell you the truth, it better stop. Because some of these same defense lawyers and stuff like that who try to get criminals off, one day it could be your son that was stabbed by somebody.
Oh, dear. Okay, well, let's hope not. Wow. Thank you for that, Sparky. Let's take this call, our final call before we have to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, good morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
The prison has a lot of issues. I mean, we have where should I begin? I mean, you still have to buy food for your family members up there, which is outrageous prices that they do. They don't allow you to visit your family members up there. What is this, a part of healing? Let me put it this way. Everybody else came out of the pandemic except the prisoners. And they're still in the pandemic. They're still locked down with everything. They can't visit. They can't get food. If you want to send your family members them their food, they have this online thing that you could communicate with your family members online, but they charges you for that now.
Yeah.
It's a whole big money scheme, and nothing is improving. And I thought they were getting ready to build a new prison.
A lot of work needs to be done. Thank you so much. We're going to have to go deeper into this at some point. This can't continue. This is crazy. Anyway, we got to take a break for news. We'll be back. A whole lot more to talk about on this Thursday before Labor Day. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app. Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. Also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. And now at 8:20, it is time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. If you're looking to paint, your local Sherwin-Williams has premium paint pro tips and everyday deals and make it easy to get started. Sherwin-Williams, Bahamas. Here's what's going on as we head into the holiday weekend. We've got a severe weather watch in effect for the northwest and central Bahamas. That will continue through tonight. And we have a Saharan dust advisory in effect for the central and southeast Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands. It will be moderate for sensitive groups, and visibility may be significantly reduced in some areas. People with respiratory issues or heart disease, the elderly and children should limit prolonged exposure by remaining indoors and wearing masks during time. So the interaction of a cold front across the central Bahamas and low-level troughing and tropical moisture streaming from the Gulf of Mexico will support showers and thunderstorms across most of the country today, the northern, northwest, and central Bahamas. And that plume of Saharan dust over the southeastern islands will create hazy conditions and may reduce shower development. As we head into the holiday weekend, that frontal boundary is forecast to move southeastwards into the southeast Bahamas. That's going to bring moisture with it. And the Saharan dust over the southeastern islands will gradually diminish by Friday. And that, too, will allow for an increase in shower activity over that part of the country. Shower and thunderstorm chances will remain elevated for most other areas, including the northwest and central Bahamas and the southeast Bahamas through the start of the work week next week, as a series of troughs will move across the islands. Ahead of that, though, for today, there is a high risk of dangerous, life-threatening rip currents across the northern Bahamas, especially along north and east coast beaches, and a slight risk of rip currents elsewhere along all Atlantic exposed beaches. so beachgoers should exercise caution. There's also a moderate risk of flooding in low-lying and flood-prone areas during heavy or prolonged rainfall events today, and so keep that in mind. So your forecast for this Thursday today, we're looking at partly cloudy to occasionally overcast conditions for the northern half of the country, a 20 to 40% chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms. For the central and southeast Bahamas, partly to variably cloudy with a 20 to 40% chance of showers with thunderstorms, especially for the central islands. High temperatures with the cloud cover, we're looking at highs in the mid-80s for the northern islands and the northwest Bahamas, around up to about 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to the upper 70s, around 26 Celsius. For the central and southeast Bahamas, highs getting closer to 90 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 80, 81 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. In your extended outlook, for tomorrow, the holiday, Friday, a mix of sun and clouds turning fair at night for the extreme northern islands. The rest of the country, most of the country, looking at partly cloudy conditions with a 30 to 40% chance of widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms for the northwest and central Bahamas. And a hot day in store, highs around 90 Fahrenheit. By Saturday, again, a mix of sun and clouds, although it could be overcast for the southeast Bahamas. Rain chances up to about 30 to 40% chance with thunderstorms possible. Sunday, a mix of sun and clouds, again, variably cloudy at night, and that will hold into Monday and Tuesday. That's your morning blend weather check. Weather check also brought to you by the Jenny Dean Caring and Sharing Cancer Support Group and Hope Walk 2026. Saturday, June 13th at 6 a.m. at Goodman's Bay Park. Walk in honor of a survivor, in memory of a loved one, or simply to support those facing cancer today. Register now at gccancersupportgroup.com for the Hope Walk 2026 next week, Saturday. And time for a check of traffic. Reminder of the work going on Carmichael Road. And you're being asked to avoid the area if you can. This is between Bosun Hill and Newmark Close. That work expected to continue through today, mainly between 9:30 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. So you're asked to avoid that area if you can. That's paving work going on there, or signs. In your real-time traffic at this hour, we are seeing a number of hotspot areas. We've got Blue Hill Road and East Street, both of those northbound, seeing heavy traffic from Carmichael if you're on Blue through the roundabout with Independence Drive up to about Robinson. Even on beyond that, as you get closer to Big Pond, you'll see that slow-moving northbound traffic there. East Street, similar story north and south of the Soldier Road intersection, slow-moving northbound traffic at this hour, straight through Robinson and up to about Cordo Avenue. Independence Drive, heavy traffic both directions, especially westbound between the roundabouts of Blue Hill and East Street. Not looking pretty there. You might want to try the alternate routes like Soldier Road or Robinson Road right now. And we've got Milo Butler Highway, heavy traffic for you. Once you get north of Fire Trail, you'll see that as you approach the ponds on the way to Tawnig Williams-Darling Highway. And a bit farther east, we've got Robinson Road. If you're heading from westbound on Prince Charles into Robinson, you're going to see that slow-moving traffic there all the way through Old Trail and up to Marathon East-West Highway. And north of the intersection onto Soldier Road, you have got heavy traffic there heading into Bernard Wolfe and Village Road. So those are your hot spots. That's your real-time traffic in your morning blend traffic alert. Brought to you by NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers. Get a quote however it suits you. Stop by your nearest branch or get an instant motor quote online at nuainsurance.com. Quick questions or big decisions, they've got you covered.
Southwest Plaza has so many stores, I've been trying to find a sensible way to list them all. There's CBS Bahamas, the Ashai Institute, BENC Snack World, Bamboo Shack Bahamas, there, the Athlete's Foot and BTC, Games and More, John Bull Fine Threads, Alive, Bahari, Dairy Queen, 700 Wines and Spirits, Sandy's Clarkson Island Lock, Starbucks and Lowe's Pharmacy, plus Marco's Pizza and Lorraine. Southwest Plaza, what a wide array of stores. Southwest Plaza, stop by today and explore.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, you're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming, but with CFAL, it doesn't have to be. We offer tailor-made individual, group, and pension solutions that take the guesswork out of retirement planning. Whether it's for you or your company, don't leave your future to chance and let the trusted hands of CFAL's experts guide you toward peace of mind and financial stability. Low upfront costs and affordable monthly payments make it easy for you to build wealth so you can live well. Visit us at cfal.com to start on your path toward financial freedom. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Your next win is waiting right now at islandluck.com. The quicker you sign up, the quicker you can play, the quicker you can score, and the quicker you can win big. From casino games to sportsbook action and lottery excitement, it's all just a few clicks away. Sign up today at islandluck.com and get in the game instantly. Island Luck. Join the winner's circle now. Must be 18 and over. Island Luck reminds you that it's only a game,
Don't
so
shop
please
Sherwin
game responsibly.
Don't get the best service in the Bahamas then.
The love is really, really strong in Sherwin-Williams. We don't just sell paint. We service you with a smile, good hearts, mind, soul, and body. And we love our customers as much as we love ourselves.
Yes. Real talk.
I'm not just saying this
Real talk.
to impress myself.
We love to go beyond with customer service. So they feel delighted to come in Sherwin-Williams because they know I can either see Dee Dee, or I can see Shelly, or one of our other wonderful staff members. We treat our customers with the respect of our boss because there are many paint companies they could choose to go to. No, baby. If they go to some other paint companies, how I gonna get this little thing at the end of the week?
We want to make sure you get that little ting, Shelley. Come visit Shelley and Dee Dee at Sherwin-Williams Bahamas, and you'll surely find color in every day.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner on this Thursday before Sarandle Fox Labor Day tomorrow. And we're talking about what's in the news. Coming up, we are going to get a preview of Pony Bahamas tournament, the Caribbean and Latin American 1400 Baseball Championship slated for right here in New Providence beginning today. And later we wrap up our Labor Week series talking with Belinda Wilson and about the B and ATUC, and maybe we'll get into some BUT discussions as well. All right, so that is all ahead, but we continue to talk about what's in the news. We want to read the last of your messages on what we were talking about before, about this just disturbing situation with the prison. Another inmate, another paralyzed inmate, being made to sleep on the concrete, getting pressure sores, and sleeping in diapers, and needing the assistance of other inmates because of just wow. And Laverne, I don't even know how to get my words together on this. And yes, it is awful that there are people out there hurting other people, but that does not mean, right? That does not mean that we get to treat them.
Apparently it does.
It does? Okay.
Apparently it does. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So a couple of these messages, and we want to get to the NIB stories. Caller we'll get to in a second. This person says here, agreed. In this circumstance, on the individual waiting trial, send him home, take that burden of care from the state, and await due process. However, the ones that are convicted or sentenced, what are you all so outraged about? Innocent people in the community that need help, fix that first. When they held a weapon in their hand to commit those horrific offenses, did they care? Their victims ask them how they feel. Granted, we need some reform. We have major issues. Most of them were animals before they went in. See, and we should never be saying that about humans, right? In our country, that we are, you're happy to have some animals running around. Yeah, but that's a problem. We caused that.
Yeah. I'm always, people say, well, so-and-so needs fixing. Pay attention to that first. We're a country, we can do more than one thing at a time.
Absolutely.
We can walk and chew gum. We really can. On other fronts, we don't have to pause everything just to focus on this one thing.
Yeah.
So yes, there are people in our communities who are not incarcerated, who need help, who need protection, who need proper medical attention. Absolutely, we should be helping them. There are people also incarcerated who need some medical attention, and the conditions in the prison, based on what everybody is saying, is horrible.
Yeah. So the text here goes on to say, when we start putting animals down, hanging, etc., then we will see a change and support such conversations. Okay, that's crazy. That's crazy talk. It really is. Wow. Spend some of that money in the prison. What money are we talking about here? The concrete ain't nobody. Ain't nobody would be comfortable. Okay, lying on concrete, that'll cause different illnesses like backaches. Okay. They need to do better, man, and they need elevators. Well, I guess you mean the court. Yes.
Let's take. They meant guardian.
Yeah, well, there, yeah. We needed to. We needed a lot. We need a lot of things. Boy. Let's take these calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi, are you there? Good morning. You're live on the air.
Yes. Good morning. How are you?
Doing well.
Yes, yesterday you had a show on livable wage, right?
Well, no, we had the Minister of Labor on, and it came up. We were talking about it.
Right, and she says that their way of dealing with it, minimum wage is training. You know what I'm saying? And seeing that there goes the issue right there. Because you have X amount of kids, those people that come out of high school that are not educated. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the problem if because of the crime, people come out of school with no education, right? Can hardly read and write and do basic math and the like, and they go into the life of crime for a livable wage. You see, so if you have a child,
all right. So I mean, some of the things you're saying, it's not because of the schools. Are you suggesting that it's because some of these folks weren't focused or didn't come out of an environment that prioritized education? Right?
Right. It is what it is. It's the majority of them are like that. I'm saying the majority of them.
Well, I don't know if I would agree with that. Majority, but too many indeed. But you haven't had an issue with what the minister was saying that that minimum wage should not be where you are forever, and that they have multiple programs all over the country helping and hoping to upskill people so they can move beyond minimum wage to something more livable. Is this an issue for those who decided to play around in high school or were not in an environment conducive to taking advantage of all that high school can offer you? I don't know. Laverne, is there a problem? What's the issue? Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Dwight, your guest. Why is it that every morning or every weekend or holiday now, all of these bank systems, all the ATMs are down? I went to 3 ATMs. So when I reached the fourth one, that's the only one was working, another was by a bank. What's going on with these banking system? And then they charging you for somebody to transfer money, they're charging you $6.60 for the person to send you money. What's going on with these banks? And then they're just giving you bad service. I am so frustrated, sir. Sorry. But what's going on in our country with these banks, sir?
I don't know. I can't answer the question.
I mean, it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And like
you
nobody
sure? I mean,
attention.
I don't want to call any names, but I mean, is it just the bank that you are dealing with? Or are you saying that all of them are like
I don't want to call the bank either, but I mean it does.
It might just be
I have
them.
two banks, but sometimes when one line down, you go to the next one. Like the ATM machines, them always out of service. Always, no system, it's just down.
Yeah.
What's if you don't believe me, Miss?
No, I believe you. I know.
Go to a bank like tomorrow evening. All the ATMs can run out of money. On how there's a holiday coming up now, you wouldn't like days be down until Monday, Sunday. It's bad, and like nobody's paying attention to this.
It's rough.
Especially if you go into the bank, you get the worst service of all these banks. The banks like they just don't care about people no more. That's where we need to be focusing on, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. Wow. All right. So let's get to this. We'll try to keep you updated on the situation with the prison. Again, I'm really blown away that it's not the same person we talked about last month. But, and we'll never find out. We've been saying all these things, right? How many people does this apply to? How many people are paralyzed and made to sleep on the floor because of that? And are under the care of their fellow inmate for diaper and God knows what else. Wow. All right. So NIB, increasing pensions.
The other person refuse. I'm sorry. I know we're moving on to NIB. But I'm just curious, if they come to you and they say, okay, I need you to assist prisoner B with diaper change, can I say no? Anyway, go ahead. NIB.
That's a great question. And again, people were asking, do you get time off? Do you get reduced sentences for being subjected to this? My Lord. Anyway,
I'm sorry. I threw you.
Yes, thanks a lot, Laverne. Thanks a lot. It's all over the place. all over the place.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Mm. And
But
yeah,
welcome
these are
to
serious
my talk.
situations, and I almost said it's a joke, but no, it's not. No. Okay, serious stuff. NIB increasing pensions and grants by 1.5% from July 1st. This is great news for many people in the country. Our Yuri Kemp writing about it today. The National Insurance Board will be increasing pensions and grants by 1.5% from July 1st. Director of the National Insurance Board, Dr. Tammy Francis, said during a press conference yesterday that the increase reflects the changes in the retail price index over the review period. Along with the 1.5% increase in pensions and grants, there will be an increase of $20 in the insurable wage ceiling. So Francis said, quote, the retail price index measures those changes across a basket of goods and services that people purchase every day. The law requires NIB to review those changes every 2 years and determine the rate at which pensions and grants should be adjusted. In simple terms, when the cost of living rises, in the insurance board reviews how those benefits should be adjusted accordingly. So this is exactly what is happening here. These adjustments are not arbitrary. They are part of a process established in law to ensure that NIB remains responsive to economic realities. They help ensure that workers remain adequately insured as earnings increase and that pensioners receive periodic adjustments that recognize changes in the cost of living. So according to Francis, following the last biennial review and in keeping with the statutory process established under the National Insurance Act, the government will proceed with the following adjustments effective July 1st. So the weekly insurable wage ceiling will increase from $810 to $830. The monthly insurable wage ceiling will increase from $3,510 to $3,597. All minimum pension rates and grants will increase by 1.5%. All pensions currently in payment prior to July 2026 will increase by up to 1.5%. The maternity grant will increase from $560 to $570. Funeral benefits will increase from $2,060 to $100 for pensioners. And apparently these adjustments provide important protection against rising costs. And a pensioner receiving the minimum retirement pension of approximately $364 per month, or approximately $5.46 per month. Now, Dr. Francis says that while this increase may sound modest, it reflects an important principle. Pension benefits should not be frozen while the cost of living continues to change. And she said the biannual adjustment process ensures that pensioners receive regular reviews and cost of living adjustments through an established legislative framework rather than having to wait for special legislative action. Okay. Interesting stuff there. Dr. Francis had some more to say, and this is encouraging, I guess. NIB not in crisis anymore. She said this is due to a change in its operations model and further cost-cutting measures. She said NIB, while it had been in a perilous state under the threat of becoming insolvent and collapsing, she says while this is not fully behind them, it is being staved off. She said that, quote, at the moment, our performance is actually much better than predicted. While we may still have a slight difference in our contribution income versus our benefit expenditure, what we would have expected or predicted, we are doing a lot better than expected. And she says that does not mean that we are to rest on our laurels. An increase of this nature would not be something that will ultimately save the fund, but we'll have to work along with other measures towards reform so that it will not overall, so this is not an overall savior at the moment. Okay, let's get your reaction to all of this, folks. It'll be good to know. I don't know if the article gets into it. We know that the recommendations over the years are saying that there should have been the increases regularly, right? Like every couple of years or so. The government hasn't decided to do that as yet, but that is what is being recommended for the long-term survival of the fund. And we know we're going to have to address this at some point soon. But for now, not knocking at death's door. and still able to improve benefits. So quick, let's get your reaction to that. 323-6232. That is good news. Yeah. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Let's take this call.
Because I think, go ahead.
You want to, before we get to the call?
No, you said there's a call. No,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead.
Okay. Caller, good morning. You're live on the air.
Morning, Brother Strachan, and to your guest.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
That is a good sign of progress. But let me say this. If national insurance could just go around and collect the money, all these buildings what they build for the government, and they're supposed to get reimbursed. If they could go around and just collect all of that money, we'll even be able to
These
get
are
a
not
little
related
more.
issues. Not
Hello?
related issues.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
saying,
not
I know
related.
you're talking about the increase in our
Not
pension.
related. Not
But
related.
I'm saying a lot of people...
What you're saying it for? It's not related. Not related. This is about us, what we contribute, whether your companies are contributing for you, whether you as an somebody who works for yourself, whether you're contributing and whether you are not depleting the fund of every week you have some broken leg or something like that, right? That's what we're talking about here. That's something totally different what you're bringing up. And that needs to be addressed, but that is not what's impacting their survival as a Social Security operation. Right? We need to focus when we talk about these things. Focus. And some of those things you're complaining about saved our grits during the pandemic. So let's focus. Let's take these calls very quickly. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, thanks for taking my call.
Hi.
Yeah, I see Caribbean countries like Barbados and Jamaica, they're doing a reverse income tax credit, some to the tune of $20,000. So I guess money's coming from somewhere to assist. Government's working hard to get things right. Is this going to trickle down to NHI as well with some relief so that these doctors could be paid?
Well, you heard with the budget, they've increased the budget for NHI. So let's hope. Let's hope. We'll see.
Well, on that note, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks a lot. One final call. Good morning, call. You're on the air. Hi, are you there? No, okay. This text, this is going back to the prison situation as we get ready to go to break. This person says, we did not get here overnight. Some people are victims of crime, and perhaps that's the reason why they couldn't care less about the inmates. Actual incidents like home invasions in the middle of the night, daughters raped in front of parents, just an example. Okay. I hear you. I mean, we've seen it before. Dad sees that, gets revenge, and goes after the people who did that to his family and ends up in jail himself. How would you feel if he's in jail and has to live like this? What about that? Huh?
And we're back on this again, but like, why does it always have to be an either or? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why can't we have compassion for people who are victims of crimes, do our best to support them, do our best to make sure that they get the kinds of help that they need in rebuilding their lives and navigating moving forward?
Absolutely.
Why can't we do that, but also address the conditions at the prison? Or are we just content to say the conditions in the prison are just a part of the punishment?
It's all related. You saying because of the crime, these people deserve it. This is exactly why those people were so easily led to a life of crime. Because everybody seems to have this bloodlust, this thirst for revenge and to unleash pain on other people. We're all responsible for where we are. And it's only going to get worse. Only going to get worse. Quick messages before we go to the break. This person says here, do these increases include those pensioners who have already retired? Of course. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Oh boy. Text messages. People aren't getting it, Laverne. This is tough. This is tough.
Okay.
This is a special place.
Yeah, well, I don't know if we can explain it any more than we already had. So let's just go on.
We got to move on.
Because,
We got Belinda Wilson up next. You don't want to miss that. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, our Labor Week series coming up.
Wendy's and Coca-Cola are giving you the chance to experience the Essence Festival of Culture in New Orleans, July 3rd through 5th. Upgrade any premium lunch combo to a large with the Coke product for your chance to win. Win cash prizes, travel vouchers, or the grand prize, a VIP trip for two to Essence Fest. Grab a Dave Single, Asiago Ranch, Chicken Club, or 3-piece tenders combo today. Eat big, sip Coke, win big with Wendy's and Coca-Cola. Rules and restrictions apply.
At Star General, you can go gold. Comprehensive car insurance covers loss or damage from accidents, fire, theft, and third-party liability. But the Gold package gives you increased coverage for rental car and windscreen, personal accident, medical benefits, deductible waiver, and 24-hour roadside assistance where available. Our Star General Gold package also gives you up to $2,500 for accidental damage to a rental car anywhere in the Bahamas. Go gold with Star General. Insurance made simple.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Put more money back in your pocket with the Fidelity Debt Consolidation Loan. Why pay more when you can pay less? Reduce your monthly debt payments down to one low, easy payment. Consolidation loan today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio 0.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
I can't wait to get home to you. I've got so much work to do. Work.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're going to take this into business in a bit, but it is our Labor Week series. We're wrapping it up today. And Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And wrapping up with the president of the BNATUC, Belinda Wilson. Good morning.
Good
to have you with us.
morning. Hey, I haven't been in the studio with you for a long time.
Has it been that long?
Morning, Laverne.
It's not been that long. You've been here this year, though, right? Yeah?
Not with you.
Really? Late
We've been
last
on
year.
Zoom, but
Right. Okay. We got to do something about
So
that.
it's
We got to
good
fix
to
that.
be looking
Good
in
to
your
see you.
face.
Good to see you as always. All right. So we got a lot to talk about. You already told me off air you want to get straight into the pension, the contributory pension issue. We had Kimsley Ferguson on Tuesday with the Bahamas Public Service Union. He's saying that it sounds great in theory, but they have a couple of concerns. We had Minister of Labor Pia Glover-Roll on yesterday saying, well, that's fine. It's only the white paper stage. And so they're looking for the responses from the public, from all the stakeholders. So this is the time to get your concerns in. What are your concerns?
Well, we definitely, we met with Michael Alquitas at the time, who was the junior minister, and financial secretary, Simon Wilson, on February the 28th, 2024. We had a 2.5-hour meeting. That's after he tried to take off his coat to come around to throw some blows at me.
The story you've told
us. Yeah,
right.
But don't worry about that.
Right.
Because he would have known how to be in town woman catch a fire, even the devil run.
Wow.
Right. So after we settled February the 28th, we had a 2.5-hour meeting. And after that meeting, we provided, as FS Wilson asked us to do, to provide him with our concerns. So what I did on behalf of the Bahamas Union of Teachers and the other unions under our affiliate, I sent them a 6-page letter. And in that 6-page letter, we gave 11 observations and 22 recommendations as it relates to the pension bill in the form in which they presented it to us.
At that time, yeah.
At that time. So now I've just picked up a compendium of bills, which includes the pensions bill. So I'm still in the process of reading to see if anything that we asked about or recommended to the government is in the new bill, or is it the same bill that they've tabled again 2 years?
You're not sure yet.
Not sure yet, because I'm still in the process of reading it, and I'm going to do some cross-referencing.
Okay.
In addition to the bill, what I think a lot of people miss too is there's a gap analysis on the legislation in the Bahamas on even the maternity protection and the recommendations on maternity, and this is probably about 150 pages. Right. So the pension reform, I want to really bring this home, that the pension reform was I would say a recommendation from the IMF. So the International Monetary Fund, they said to the government that the government needs to do broad fiscal reforms to combat the high sovereign debt risk. Okay. So the government has started to look at pension reform. However, they also talked about income tax, VAT, and the expenditure that our government spends throughout the public service and otherwise. And they also talked about energy reform. So the first thing it seems like the government, one of the first things that the government has taken on is the pension reform. We know that there's an unfunded liability because the government now does 100% funding by our taxpayers' money for the pensions. In principle, we are not against the pension reform. What we are saying, though, is there is a need for consultation. And when we speak about consultation, I think the government has a different view of consultation than what the union has. The government's consultation is, child, we at a meeting, and we tell them what we're doing, and they know. And then they run away, and they go ahead and try to implement. But what we're saying is you have a 4-page letter. And, let me also say this too. This letter was sent to the Prime Minister on April the 3rd, 2024. We met with the Prime Minister in March of last year, twice. We met with him September of last year. The pensions bill was a part of our discussions. So we expect that prior to this bill being placed before Parliament, there should have been a green paper, a white paper, and the consultation with not only the unions, but other stakeholders. So we expect for that to happen prior to the government implementing the pensions bill.
And it seems, according to the minister, that is going to happen. With the
They say a lot of things, and if you don't stay on top of them, you don't monitor it, they would sneak it in or ease it right in, and then we realize, oh, hold on, a bill has been passed. However, there was not sufficient consultation. So consultation means that there is discussion that both sides would have, that at the end of the day, there's an agreed position that is for the benefit of what the objective is that you're trying to achieve.
Right. All right. So if you're not with the union, if you're a member of the public, what do you do in situations like
And
this?
that's why I'm saying that the consultation has to be broader. So you have to look at the private sector. You have to look at the Chamber of Commerce, who represents the employers, the Employers Federation, those different groupings. You have to look at small businesses because what it is that you are proposing will impact private sector and others. Because again, the government sets the tone. So if you have some private sector that is funding fully pensions, then they may want to do the contributory pension. So it's good for the proper consultation to happen and not just have the town meetings for the sake of having the town meetings, but to use the recommendations and the observations that are given by the various sectors in order for it to improve the bill that you propose to lay on the table.
Okay, all right. Let's take a quick break. We're going to do news headlines. When we come back, a whole lot more to talk with Belinda Wilson about. This is Labor Day Eve. This is Morning on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
This is Guardian 9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Thursday, June 4th, 2026. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner, and we are in the middle of our Labor Week series. We are continuing our discussion with Belinda Wilson, the president of the Bahamas National Alliance of Trade Union.
It's a mouthful.
It's a lot. I'm trying to make it Banaktuk? No, that doesn't really sound right. How do you? BNATZ? That is a lot, right?
Yeah, it's a lot, Laverne.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, always great to have you
come
with
up with
us.
something.
Yes.
We're gonna work on it. All right. So there are other issues. The government's seeking to update the Employment Act and.
Before you leave off the Employment Act, let me go back to the Pensions Act quickly.
Okay.
Okay. So when we read the pensions bill in 2024, some of the things that we noted, even in the meeting that we had with Financial Secretary and his team, there was no statistics that was provided to us. No documentation was presented to show the existing pensions and what the comparison is for the proposed pensions. For example, they also want a mandatory age of retirement to move from 65 to 67. We asked what will happen to the $2 billion pension liability that is presently on the books. So we have not received, it's a lot of questions. We have not received answers to those questions, but what we asked for and recommended is that more meetings be held, not only with us, but with the stakeholders. We want the mandatory age to remain at 65, but give the employees the option to retire at 67 if they wish. We've asked for them to look at the reemployment of pensioners, that they should not and shall not hold a substantive post. We wanted to know there's Section 16.1, Section 17.1, Section 18.1, the rates of 3%. We needed that to be clarified, and the basis for the amounts shown. What we really had a major issue with too is that the government proposes to put together a board to oversee this pension. We want an independent board. We don't want any minister or any financial secretary being the chair of the board. We want an independent board. What we also ask them is we do not want these pension funds to be commingled in the consolidated fund. Right. We want them to identify where those pension funds are going to be held. We wanted to know if they're going to have the pension funds insured. Are they going to use the funds for investment or purchasing of stocks or bonds? So listen, we
or buildings,
or buildings, right? So we've asked a lot of questions. We've provided 22 recommendations, some of which I just pointed out. So we expect that there should be aggressive discussions and consultation, not only with the unions, but with the wider public before this pensions bill is passed.
And as you said, you haven't looked at the white paper yet, neither have I, but it's possible, except for maybe the statistics, it's possible that some of these things might be in there.
Glancing at it now, no.
You're shaking your head.
But I will delve into this and you will hear back.
Yes, so we all have to go through it. Okay, all right, so those are some interesting points. So again, with the Employment and Industrial Relations Act, they're trying to update and modernize it. Retirement age keeps coming up. Let's go back to your point. The difference that would make. We know that there are a lot of people who do not want to see the retirement age rise. There are people saying that right now young people are disenfranchised and cannot find work because old heads are sticking around and taking up all the positions.
That's part of our point, because, okay, if someone has been in the service, if you've been working for 40 years, you're looking forward to, hey, age 65, I am retiring. So the increase then increases your time for working. What we also say is it puts a bottleneck for the younger persons to be promoted or to gain the experience in the higher positions. So we're saying that persons can opt to remain for 67. Now, they do have, they've changed the policy, and now you have judges, you have teachers, who can remain up to the age of 70. Wow. That's great because you know of the shortages in those areas. But when you talk about public service, you have persons who've been clerks, janitresses, a security officer. You've been working all your life and you're looking forward to 65. I understand what the government is trying to achieve. But as I said earlier, the pension reform is just one part of what the IMF told them to change or reform to get the change, the fiscal change that they're trying to get. However, you have to look then at the income tax, the VAT. You have to look at government spending, expenditure. That's one of the things that the IMF has spoken about.
Yeah.
So you go and you say, we who've been working now for 30 plus and 40 years, we adding 2 more years to your work life. But you did not tell us that you're going to cut the travel budget. You did not tell us that you're going to cut those consultancies, the millions and millions of dollars. So when you talk about expenditure, that's a part of the expenditure. So when you come to us and you're saying, we want to increase your time for work, we want to increase your, again, the national insurance.
I was going to get to that.
Okay.
Right.
So I'm saying you're
And
increasing.
people are living longer. So, right, this is one of the recommendations, though, that we need this in order to keep the fund viable.
But what I'm saying is, if you want to keep the fund viable, if you want to keep the public service efficient and effective, then you have to take all of what the IMF has recommended.
Not just cherry picking.
Right. So you cannot cherry pick the public service and say, y'all gonna work longer? We can take some more money out your pay for national insurance. So what we're saying is, what are you doing with energy reform? What are you doing? But they talked about expenditure optimization, and they speak to strict management of government expenditure, especially state-owned enterprises. So to me, when we're having the meeting with the FS and the Prime Minister, the first thing they need to do is come and say, hey, based on the IMF recommendations, this is what we're doing for energy reform. This is what we're doing to cut down on our expenditure. This is what we're looking at for VAT. We are doing some more discussions on income tax. But on the other hand, we're asking the public servants to work 2 years late. Yeah, so that's the kind of discussions we like to have, but we never do.
Wow. All right, so you're saying keep it mandatory to 65, but if you want to continue...
The person can opt to continue. And what we say...
Is indefinite fine, or should there be a cutoff at some point?
Okay, what we're saying is, at 64, the public service writes to you and they say to you, let's say today is your birthday, June the 4th. So they would write to you and they would say, we're letting you know, a reminder that your mandatory retirement is June the 4th, 2027. So we're saying within that same letter, you can write and say that your mandatory age of retirement is 65, which is June 4th, 2027. However, if you opt to remain on until 67, or 68, 69, 70, please respond to our letter and make that known, which also helps the public service to plan better, which will help a place like the Ministry of Education to plan better, and they don't spin around the day before school opened to say, we have a shortage of teachers, as if you didn't know that 50 of them retired or was up for retirement a week before school opened.
Right. Wow, okay. We want to talk about the BUT and BUT issues as we're approaching the end of the school year. How has the school year been? I think that was the last time we had you at the show. The start of the school year.
The school year has been not as active as it was in previous years, and I'm speaking about school policing. That has been working very well.
Okay.
Because we, the BUT, we stay in touch with the police. The police is gathering intelligence. They're able to ward off a lot of fights that the children may have. Even they've been able to seize weapons. Yeah, guns. Yes, guns. Yeah, guns, knives, drugs. So the police has really been working very well, and they communicate with me. I mean, up to last night, we were on talking about a situation that happened in a school day before yesterday. So the school policing has been working well. The breakfast program, but my understanding is the breakfast program is not every day, and I know that it's not in every school. So we've asked for that program to
Not
be,
every day?
Yeah, it's 3 days out of the, so we want it to be every day, and we want it to be expanded throughout. So let's feed.
Well, they've said they're going to expand it.
Yeah, that's what they said, but we don't have anything in our hands. So without black and white, we say it's rhetoric. So we're asking for an expansion, and we want it to be throughout. So feed everyone, and we're asking also for the food to be a little more healthy. Every morning it can't be grits and sausage and grits and
Yeah.
So expand that.
All right. So you have a new minister.
Yes, we have a new minister. We had our first meeting, and it was just myself, and I took one officer, and the meeting was very productive. Yes, I did take the minister a 20-page document. So,
And for those who don't know, who have been keeping up, Chester Cooper is now the Minister of Education.
Yeah, Minister Chester Cooper is the new minister, and his junior minister is Keenan Johnson. So I met with them along with one other officer, and we were able to, we only could touch the surface of, but we looked at communication. We looked at the virtual platform. We looked at teacher shortages. We looked at the curriculum. We looked at the recruitment of teachers. We looked at what is the status of the Cuban teachers continuing. We looked at schools that need to be repaired, new schools built, renovations. So we spoke about a whole gamut of things that impacts education. I must say, his ears were perked. We gave him the and let me say this too. So with the document, what was submitted. So we looked at what is happening now. The strengths and weaknesses of what is happening based on our observation, and then recommendations for each of those areas. So we hope that the minister. Go ahead, Laverne.
I know you said that it was a 20-page document, but of that 20-page document, what would you say are the most pressing issues, maybe the top 4 most pressing issues that need to be addressed before school starts again in September?
Teacher shortages, school repairs, improvement of communication in the Ministry of Education internally, and then by extension with us as unions or stakeholders in general. Those would definitely be the top 3. And boy, the 4th one. But definitely those 3.
Yeah.
Get the schools.
I want to get into some of those.
Get the communication ready. Get the teachers in the school, and get
school repairs.
Get the repairs out on time.
Right.
So how
School
bad are the
repairs
shortages?
always seem to be an issue.
Yeah, always. How bad are the shortages? The teacher shortages?
Okay, it's bad when you would have in many of we have 164 schools on 24 islands and keys. So it's bad when you would have teachers that you have substituting for the entire school year. So a substitution is if I call in and say, I'm not going to make it today, so hey, you hold on to my class. But we have teachers whose substitution is actually a full-time table. We have the Bahamas Union of Teachers. It was us who implemented and agreed for the supply teachers. So a teacher who has retired who's coming in for supply. So let's say, for example, you leave for 3 months. So you definitely don't want to leave those children without a teacher for 3 months.
Right.
So we say, okay, the retired teacher would come in and hold that class for the 3 months. And then we say, all right, see you later, until another teacher gets pregnant or someone is out sick and we'll need. We have retired teachers who are supply teachers who are holding full-time classes Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. for the entire year.
Wow. How long has that been going on?
Forever and ever. Amen.
Okay.
Again, I can say to you that not just last week meeting with the new Minister Cooper, but I can produce for you documentation over the last 20 years, recommendations that I know that I have written to education, telling them how the teacher shortage can be addressed. The recruitment. When we look at the University of the Bahamas students, so University of the Bahamas students, welcome you all teachers who were commissioned a few days ago. So they were commissioned a few days ago. They're going to invite them in August to an orientation. So let's say there's 59 of them that were commissioned here, and there are some additional in Grand Bahama. So let's say in total it's 100 of them. You know they would be invited to an orientation in August. And when the orientation ceremony ends, you may have 20 or 30 of them that have appointment letters. So you're asking, okay, where are the other 80 or 70 letters? Are we waiting for the public service? Are we waiting for the police to vet them? Are we waiting for her to bring a diploma? Are we waiting for her transcript? So that alone is a turn off. You already been in college for 4 years. You are anxious and ready to work. You got all these things in your head, these strategies and methodologies that you want to put to the students, and then you got to wait. So I'm telling you, we have teachers just being posted from last year, September, a month ago.
Wow.
And the school year ready to end.
So are you saying this doesn't get started till August?
I don't know what they're doing.
Because, this was last week when those teachers were...
Yeah, they were... But what I'm saying to you is...
So nothing happens between now and August?
That's what I'm saying. We don't know what they're doing. And we're saying that, first of all, you should not wait. The recommendations that I've given over and over is you should not wait for them to be commissioned May. Because 99% of them are on a government grant or scholarship. So if you know you gave me a grant or scholarship 4 years ago, and you know that I'm completing in May, you already know what my subject area is that I'm majoring in. So I said to education over and over, I wrote to them from December of the year before, you sit with UB. So when you go through with UB, you get that list. Yeah. You start to vet them. You get all their documentation, and that means that when they are commissioned and they walk across with their degree, that's the only thing that you're waiting for, that degree. The other thing is we're saying to them, there is a shortage, but we do have some high achieving or high level learners in school. We have some students who are very good in science, math, history, language. You need to entice them to come into education, get them into a cohort quickly. You can bring them on even as assistant teachers while they're doing their teaching certification or their degree at UB or even other tertiary institutions. So you will be able, because, those same students are the students that we will use in our classes as a teacher. So let's say we're pairing our students. Yeah. So we got a high achiever there and we're saying to him or her, listen, we have some students that are not achieving as much as you are. So we group them and we let them tutor them or assist them in a certain concept or subject. So if you're doing it in the classroom, assisting your peers, then why can't you be identified as the next group of cohorts that will come in to do teaching? They have the teachers cadet. We're saying to them, that's not expanded enough. They're not being as effective as they can be. So since you have the teachers cadet and they've already identified themselves that they want to be teachers, then why are we wasting time from grade 10 to 12 having them do the regular classes in school? Get them to do the advanced placement. So while they do core courses in school, then have them doing the level courses of methodology, test and measurement, so that when they are completed with the 12th grade, they would not only have, let's say, the BGCSEs, they would also have the education courses that are needed to assist them in teaching in the classroom. Then, so give them a stipend. That's an incentive. Give them the little, uniform would say teacher in waiting or something. But education, all they do is manage, manage, and it's the same thing over and over.
So when you give these ideas, I mean, what's the response?
Good question, and I hate to say this on the radio, but I can say it. When I wrote to former Minister Jerome Fitzgerald, then I wrote to the minister that came after him, that would have been Jeff Lloyd. Then I wrote to Glenys Hanna Martin, and now I wrote to Chester Cooper. So I changed the name of the minister, I changed the date, and I changed the tense. And I may have moved one or two topics. So we're saying that someone has to come in who says, I see the changes that are needed in education, and say, I don't care if they don't vote for me the next 5 years. But when I leave, they will know that I was here, because the changes that I would have made will impact generations of students and the educational system in general.
Wow. So I'm curious about the communication issue that you talked about. I know sometimes I'll message you and I'll say, what's this about? Like with the GLAD issue, when that was postponed, and you didn't know.
Good point.
So what's happening? Why is there a breakdown?
I raised that also with the Minister of Communication. So the GLAD, the Ministry of Education, sent out a communication that the GLAD exams have been canceled. Right. There was a breach. I got that communication off of social media from one of my teachers. Wow. So, I did send it to the PS, and I did blast away, because I then wrote and I said to the PS, first of all, I'm the director, I should not be receiving this by social media. I should have been, and guess what? On this, you know what happens to, when they send out circulars, it has where the Bahamas Union of Teachers is one of the recipients of it, because they have a list of all of the persons that they send it to.
Right.
But they did not send it to us. When they did send it, it was already in the public domain. So then I wrote to PS Bristol, and I said, first of all, I got this from social media. I didn't get it from you or from the Ministry of Education's office. I say, so that in itself is an insult and disrespectful. I said, but it says it is a breach. I don't expect you to say publicly, the breach was X, Y, Z. But I expect that as a stakeholder, as the representative and the agent for the teachers, that there should have been communication with me as the president. Madam President, we are sharing with you some confidential information. However, A, B, C happened. Well, that happened then, and now I have no explanation from the permanent secretary. And this is a matter... Still. This is a matter that I raised with the new minister. And then something else came out, which says the GLAD exams will now be taken on such and such a date.
Yeah.
So my thing is, PS should have communicated, hey, Madam President, there was a breach, X, Y, Z. That has to be kept confidential. Who the person is with school, the details, fine. However, we are tentatively looking at such and such a date, and we will keep you apprised.
Right.
None of that. So the new date, I think I get that too by social media. So I'm saying things as simple as that. What we also talk about with communication too, and it really, really bothers me. So let's say we sit in a 2-hour meeting with education officials. So in that meeting, let's say we summarize and we said, okay, these 5 things education has to do. BUT, these 3 things you have to do.
Right.
So I run away and I go and I do the 3 things I'm supposed to do, and I send it on to PS, copy who needs to be copied. Fine. So I try to do that in a timely manner. Weeks and weeks and weeks later, We still trying to find out from them the 5 things that y'all were supposed to do based on the meeting that we had a month ago or 3 months ago. Can you give me an update or a status report on this, please? Let me give you an example. April the 23rd was the last time we sat at the negotiation table for our new industrial agreement. Okay. So, well, first of all, the government consultant, the lead chief consultant, I ain't calling him on the radio, but I don't tell him in his face. The chief government consultant walks into a negotiation with just his cell phone in his hand. After they've already given us a counter proposal that we've refused and rejected 3 times, then he comes to the table with a cell phone in his hand. And I can tell you right away, sir, we sent him back and tell him, no negotiations going on here. You need to go. We can pause. You need to go to finance, bring the documentation. We can wait for you. Wow. And he did. So you come back with the same thing that we rejected 3 times? Okay, so that's April the 23rd. So up to May the 11th, Sunday, May the 11th, the election was Monday, the 12th? Tuesday the 12th? Okay. So Mother's Day, I was back and forth on the phone with the Prime Minister.
Wow.
Trying to get agreement on a few articles that the negotiating team could not agree. And I keep asking, what is your purpose? Because if you're coming to negotiate, you're getting hundreds of $1,000s of our taxpayers' money to say you're consulting. You don't even know the context and the contents of which you're negotiating because you don't have no expertise in our area. But you're getting our money, you're driving around in our car, okay, fine. So when you come to the table, the government that sent you should give you the parameters in which your powers are. And don't come wasting our time. So why we meet with you 4 and 5 times if you can't move the needle on an issue? Let us go meet with who the big boss is. So we back and forth. I say on Mother's Day, I supposed to be celebrating Mother's Day. Me and the Prime Minister going back and forth on some articles. Okay, he agreed to 3 things. We still left about 6 or 7 things untouched. So I wrote to the government negotiators. I said, okay, it's election coming. We'll wait until after the election. So I wrote to them week before last. And I said, could we set aside Monday, June 1st and Tuesday, June 2nd for negotiations, finalization, and signing off on the new agreement? But then, you know, I had to write down June the 2nd, Tuesday night, almost midnight, and I intentionally waited to say, I wrote to you 2 weeks ago. We need to get back to the table. You answered and said the dates look workable. So the dates already passed. Wow. And no one writes to say, Madam President, we looked at your 2 dates and we thought it was workable. However, we will have to reschedule. So I wrote to them almost midnight Tuesday night to let them know, hey, the time has passed. Hey, we're still waiting on the responses. Hey, I wrote to you. So I expect to have a written response. So when we go and hit the road, oh, that crazy woman. Yes, I crazy. Yes, because when you whisper, when you email, when you write, when you go in meetings, no one hears you.
Wow. So your industrial agreement has expired, or is it?
Expired from June the 30th, 2025. And what we did is I presented to them on June the 3rd, 2025, a new draft agreement. We have been to the table from October last year.
Yeah.
So we're saying, hey, let's complete this negotiations. Let's sign off and let's move on.
I mean, this seems to be from the decades I've been in media. I mean, has there ever been an industrial agreement that didn't expire and then they actually
never to my knowledge?
What is that about?
But I can say something to you though. This is my 5th industrial agreement that I'm negotiating on behalf of the members of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, and I never wait for it to expire.
Right.
I always send notice. I send a written notice about 3 months prior to the expiration, stating, just letting you know that the agreement expires in 3 months, and I will be presenting to you on behalf of the members a new draft agreement for whichever period. And then I go, and I can show you the pictures. They say, the children say, bring the receipts. I got the receipts. So I can show you where we present prior to the expiration. Let me say
So
something.
you're talking about beauty, but I mean, do you know of any industrial agreement that has never not expired?
Not to my knowledge.
It's just
not to my knowledge. And let me say this too, because I'm sick and tired of hearing Pierre Glover and the Prime Minister tout. We have signed 60, I think they say 63 now. On the campaign trail, it was 60. I think now, today, they're saying 63. Okay.
64, she said. Yeah.
Okay, so 64. I applaud the government, the PLP government, for signing those agreements, because the FNM government, our agreement ended June 30, 2018. And I wrote them until my finger about to fall off. We did not get to the table until the PLP government came in 2021. So we signed off on our new agreement September the 13th, 2022. But I really want to put this in the hearing of the public, Pierre Glover and the Prime Minister and whomever else. Okay? Signing an agreement, I give kudos. The problem is adherence, implementation, policies that derive from the agreement, the policing and monitoring of the agreement. Let me give you an example. Okay, they definitely don't adhere to the agreement because we have the government in court now on several matters. I also brought those legal matters which are in the Supreme Court to the attention of the new minister. So we have them in court now because of breaches and violations that the ministry and the Department of Education did in contravention of the industrial agreement. So that's the first thing. They don't adhere to what it is that is agreed. The next thing is, let's say implementation. So we agree a new article and something is to be implemented. We have to write them to say, remember Article 1.1 says to implement such and such. So we always have to do the heavy lifting. Then, for example, from November the 17th, 2006 is the first agreement I ever signed, along with Ida Poitier Turnquest, who was the president then, and I was the Secretary General. In that agreement, we agreed that there will be a committee that will be set up to look at the teacher's performance appraisal form. We call the ACR, your annual confidential report. And I'm telling you that from 2006, in 2010, 2013, 2018, 2022, and 2026, we have that same article in there for this committee to be formed, comprised of persons from the union, from the public service, from education.
You're not going to say the committee has never been formed.
Never formed. Never.
No way.
Never formed. So I'm saying
20 years?
Yes. So you touting that you've signed agreements. Like I said, kudos. Now what next after the signing? And that is what the problem is. The next thing is when we look at the agreement, we agree certain articles, but those articles call for policies to be drafted and created in order for the articles to really take form or for you to be able to implement it. So there are articles in our agreement that call for policy changes. Nothing. And I'm telling you, every time we look around, we have to be writing to them to say, hey, you're breaching this, you're breaching that.
So that's a BUT. Are there other unions, as you are now the president of the BNATUC? Is that a common practice across the board?
Common practice, and it's not only in the public service, it's also in the private sector. Because the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union, they're under my union. And I'm saying we have trade disputes on top of trade disputes in the Labor Department. And again, so the government is breaching, for instance, the BUT's agreement or in violation of some sections of our agreement. And then we have to go to the government minister to give our report for the government minister to have a conciliation and to make a decision whether our matter is then sent to the industrial tribunal. So sometimes with the BUT, we just go straight to the Supreme Court. Straight to the Supreme Court. And so we're in the Supreme Court now, even just on some reassignments. As simple as this, our agreement speaks to 8.21 of our agreement speaks to the government has agreed not to reassign or promote any executive officer, shop steward, district steward, assistant shop steward, or union representative without consultation with the Bahamas Union of Teachers.
Right.
Okay, so we're in a reassignment meeting Monday. And when I look on the list, it's like, okay, 3 or 4 union reps on it. So all I did was open up my industrial agreement and start reading and say, next. Let's go to the next name because that person ain't moving. Wow. So I'm saying simple things of that nature. And so we have a case in court where they reassigned several of our shop stewards or union representatives a few years back. And you know what's so sickening and so sad? If you're the permanent secretary and an error was made in the department, okay, you've reassigned 3 officers of the Bahamas Union of Teachers or 3 union reps, and you did not consult. And we bring it to your attention. Before they say, you know what, let's rescind this, we have to end up going to battle in the Labor Department or the court. Like, they would never say, hey, like the church say, my bad, we can change that. No problem, Madam President, we'll fix that. And even like in my meetings for reassignments, sometimes they want to reassign a teacher. And they say, we have to send her because we don't have someone to replace her. So I say, okay, give me a day or 2. And I'll find a teacher who may be interested in going to that island or that key or that school. And we get it work out. Sometime in an hour, I call them back and say, hey, such and such say they would go. So that's when we talk about consultation and we talk about work in partnership with stakeholders. People think that all the unions do is row and fight about money. No, money is very, very important. But even with the articles that's holding up our industrial agreement, all does not deal with money.
Yeah. All right, so time's going. I got to ask you this. You've been in this a long time, right? People tuning in are going to say, oh, Belinda's complaining again. But let's talk about it. Are things, the state we are in 2026, is this the worst it's ever been, the best it's ever been, somewhere in the middle? Have we lost ground or we gained ground? Or things looking up? What can you say at this point?
I think we're going around in circles.
Oh, no.
And let me tell you why. As I was looking at The Fate That Moved the Mountain, written by Sir Randall Fox, and I looked at when he spoke about the National Insurance Board, the Fair Labor Standards Act, the work week, the right to have representation, and I come full circle to today. Those are the same issues that we're still dealing with. And I go back to the point that I made earlier. I just wish that we can have a government that says, I don't give a 5 cents if they don't vote for me in the next election, but I am going to fix this. Like BPL. Like, I was so annoyed the other night. I heard you on the radio talking about the western area. Well, I live in Golden Gates. And the light kept dipping. It cutting off. It's damaging your appliances. And I said to my husband, I was so frustrated. I say, for God's sake, why someone just don't fix PPL? Come to us and say, listen, it's going to take X amount of millions to fix it. We're going to tax y'all $1 for the next year. And this $1 going directly to fixing BPL. When you don't pay that $1 for the year, along with whatever money we say we done spend, and with Pike, Ike, or Bike, because I still ain't understand who in charge, when we done sort all that out, the hedge fund, etc., who really running the Wasilla engines, when all that is sorted out, we come to you with a comprehensive, not no 30-second sound bites. You call meetings with strategic partners. You have the town meetings. Allow the people to ask the questions. But you come in the plan and say, listen, this is who owns it. This is who we're partnering with. This is what is needed for the light to stay on continuously. And we're going to need $1 more from y'all. Just for 1 year, we're going to fix it once and for all. For God's sake. Everybody just pitter-pat and run, having all these documentary on television with these pretty helmet on. But we want the light on. We don't care about your helmet and your vest. We want the light to remain on. And that's a part of what the IMF spoke about, energy reform. And if we're talking about investments. Who is coming to invest in a place where you can't keep the light on? We're talking about technology, expanding technology and going online to do things. I ain't go online if the light off. So if the light off and it impacts the internet, etc. So what line you going on? The closed line? So someone has to say, I don't care. I gonna fix it. They could hate me, they could grumble, but when I leave, they're gonna be able to say, boy, she was such and such, but it's fixed. Right. That's what we need.
So we're spinning in circles.
We don't have enough leaders. And everybody just stepping around, messing up and look, I ain't interested in that. Let's get the work. Let's get the job done. At the end of the day, when you come out of whatever position you're in, you say, I've been in a position for 20 years. Well, this is what I can leave with in the next 2 years. 5 industrial agreements, which improved the benefits and education in general for the teachers. A union history book written from 1947 to 2017. The union will have 2 multi-million-dollar buildings with no debt. Debt-free. We don't owe a bank $1 for those buildings. You'll have the union's pension fund, pension plan, a retirement plan that we have. So when I walk away, I'm walking away with my head high. And at the end of the day, you could tangibly go and touch and say, oh yeah, that was built under her. Oh yeah, this is the agreement you can pull that others can use to carry on. So the positions you're in, ain't for you to put on no wigs and makeup, ain't for these men to put on these tight gunning pants. It is for you to make a difference. The people voted for us in the union. They voted for you in the government because they believe in you. They believe that giving you the honor, it's an honor, to serve these people. It's an honor to serve the people. So they are saying, I entrust you for the next 3 years, Madam President, to be our president. I entrust you for the next 5 years to be my MP or to be my government. Do not squander that.
We are talking with BUT and BNATUC President Belinda Wilson. All right, so we got less than 2 minutes. Spinning in circles. How many Labor Day marches are we having tomorrow?
Well, I know we will be joining with the NCTUB. So the NCTUB and the BNATUC, we start from Windsor Park and we head north onto East Street, onto Bay Street, onto Navy Lion Road, and we would end up at our Waki. We're not going to have a ceremony, so we'll go to different places to celebrate. So we'll be celebrating with the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union. They're having their little cookout there and their sales, so come and assist them. I want to also say, I can't leave without saying this. I want to say to the PLP, I want to say to the FNM, I want to say to the COI and the independents, tomorrow is for labor. We don't interfere when you are having your rallies, etc. Tomorrow is the one day that's been set aside for laborers to be on display, for us to show some solidarity and unity. So I want to say to your political parties, if you're marching on the same route with us, make sure you're in a far distance from us, because we're asking for workers to come. Come in your union T-shirts, and let's celebrate Sir Randall Fox and all of the other heroes in labor that have gone before us.
Yeah, wow. So 70 years since the first unofficial march in 1956. The official came a little bit later, but so this is quite a milestone.
It is.
Your final message to the workers of the country.
Workers, just want to let you know, especially my members of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, we are working for you. We hope to get to the table in short order to complete our industrial agreement. I want to say thank you so much. I'm honored to have served you for so long, and you keep supporting me, and I do not take it for granted. So I say to all of my affiliates, the Abaco Taxi Drivers and Allied Workers Union, the Bahamas Financial Services Union, the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union, the Bahamas Livery Drivers Union, the Bahamas Public Service Union, the Bahamas Driving School Association, the Bahamas Union of Teachers, the Police Staff Association, the Correctional Officers Staff Association. Happy Labor Day, and I can see you all on Windsor Park in the morning.
Okay, Belinda Wilson, always a pleasure, always a great conversation. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
Happy Sir Randall Fox Labor Day to you too. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back to wrap things up. This is Morning Blend Business, our Labor Week series here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
So much work to do, work.
On Angie, how does it feel to have broken the bull riding world record?
Sore, Sean. That bull was angry.
Angie, I think that bull is headed towards your red convertible.
I broke the world record and he broke my car. Oh well, at least I've got CG Comprehensive Motor to cover this.
Get covered for collision, damage, and more. CG Atlantic Agents and Brokers. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
If you're done with gas prices burning a hole through your wallet, stop paying the price and start driving the solution. A BYD EV from Easy Car Sales comes with an 80% drop in your fuel costs. So wave goodbye to gas lines and charge while you sleep. For 8 years, drivers like you have been breaking up with the pump and waking up to freedom. It's more than a car. It's a new way to be. It's a BYD from the one and only authorized dealer in the Bahamas. Visit easy242.com to learn more.
At CFAL, we understand that a secure future is the greatest gift you can give your employees. That's why our tailor-made group pension solutions are designed to fit the needs of both large and small companies. With CFAL, you can provide the retirement you and your employees deserve, ensuring peace of mind and financial stability for years to come. Join the many businesses that have already entrusted CFAL to create the right pension plan for their employees, and let us help you build a brighter future for your team. Visit us at cfal.com to get started on building wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
CFAL is a proud sponsor of Team Bahamas for the 2026 Carifta Games.
Struggling to find your financial rhythm? Make that move to Fidelity and let us help you orchestrate your financial goals into perfect harmony with free financial coaching sessions. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
When it comes to hearts at Cleveland Clinic, you can't miss a beat. You seek the best care possible, work with the brightest minds, and leave no stone unturned to get to the heart of the matter. Because understanding is always the first step to overcoming. For every heart in the world, see how we're advancing the future of heart care at Cleveland Clinic today.
Be sure to pick up today's NASA Guardian for the latest in business news. This portion of the show brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. Laverne Gardner, thank you. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful holiday weekend.
You too.
Hope that for everybody listening, be safe tomorrow. Enjoy yourself on the Labor Day parade and have a great weekend. We'll be back on Monday with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight, Strachan, have a great one. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
We heard you. Due to the request for more time, the Tourism Development Corporation is extending the Student Innovation Pitch Competition. Final application deadline, May 23rd. Competition day, now June 6th at Bahamas Convention Center. If you're ages 10 to 18 with a business idea, invention, or vision for the Bahamas, this is your moment. Green economy, blue economy, orange economy, up to $50,000 in grants up for grabs. Out Island youth, we need you in on this too. The Tourism Development Corporation wants to support you and our future.
Hope still lives in community. Join the Jenny Dean Caring and Sharing Cancer Support Group for the Hope Walk 2026 on Saturday, June 13th at 6 a.m. at Goodman's Bay. Walk alongside survivors, patients, caregivers, and families as we come together in support. Enjoy fellowship, vendors, activities, and our inspiring Hope concert immediately following the walk. Register at gdcancersupportgroup.com.
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming, but with CFAL, it doesn't have to be. We offer tailor-made pension solutions that take the guesswork out of retirement planning. Whether it's for you or your company, don't leave your future to chance and let the trusted hands of CFAL's experts guide you toward peace of mind and financial stability. Low upfront costs and affordable monthly payments make it easy for you to build wealth so you can live well. Visit us at cfal.com to start on your path toward financial freedom. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.